Welcome to the Reddit library. Today, we'll be looking at r/AskReddit, where the user Pepsi asks the question, which brand has lost you as a customer? DirecTV. Got diagnosed with leukemia. They spent the first month figuring out how to fire me. Second month, they insisted they'd never received any documentation from my physician, even when I was on the phone with a nursing assistant as she faxed the information to them. Walked into the office one day, they gave me a box and walked me out because I hadn't provided the necessary documentation within 30 days. Screw DirecTV. Sprint. My first cell phone was Sprint. Had them for years. Then they decided to charge me twice a month for one phone. Called to get it fixed and nothing. I switched to AT&T and we canceled Sprint. Kept same number though. Sprint kept charging me after canceling and tried to sue me for not paying, even though I had record of the cancellation. Got them to drop those charges, but then sued me for not paying the late fees for those payments I didn't pay after I canceled. Dropped Sprint about 8 to 10 years ago, because they charged me extra because I went over on data. They claimed I sent a file, a picture, that was 30 gigabytes. The rep on the phone kept trying to tell me that, no, I was confused. Gigabytes are smaller than megabytes. I was nowhere near going over on data. British Airways. I lived abroad. My mom came to visit. 3 days into her trip, my dad died, and we had to fly to the UK immediately. I needed to change the date of her return flight to that day, and buy one new ticket for myself. My stipulations were, we both need to be on the same plane ASAP. They booked my seat first. Said there was only one business class available, which I agreed to. Then after taking payment, said there were no seats for my mom, so she's on a different flight later in the day. Also, my seat was non-refundable, as it was less than 24 hours until the flight. £3,000 out of pocket. I immediately called Virgin Atlantic. Explained. They said get to the airport ASAP and we'll sort it out. They met us at the check-in desk, took our passports and luggage while we waited at a cafe, then walked us through the airport and security, right to the door of the plane. From phone to plane, seat in 3 hours. I just don't know how I was so failed by one and so welcomed and helped by the other. I'll never set foot on a British Airways plane. Nice to hear Virgin Atlantic has been great to someone else. A few years ago, I bought a flight through them and dropped a large amount in cost the following day. I thought for sure I'd be out of luck, but I called their customer service just in case I could get a slight discount, upgrade, or something. They gave me the complete difference as a refund, no issues at all. I wasn't a member of any loyalty club or purchasing a high-end ticket either. Also, the food they served on the flight was fantastic, so that won me over too. Ducking Dr. Scholl's shoes. 20 years ago they were great if you were on your feet a lot. Now they're sold at Walmart and are absolute garbage, and I'm pretty sure he's not a real doctor. Life pro tip. Never buy anything that says something like, made exclusively for Walmart, on the packaging. That's code for, Walmart forces us to lower our prices every year, but we hit a point where we couldn't go any cheaper without using crappy materials. We didn't want to destroy our brand, so we sell a crappier version of our product at Walmart, and the regular stuff everywhere else. Totally legit. Also, look for WMT in the model number, to show the model is a Walmart model. SiriusXM. I've never been spammed more by a company in my life after canceling my subscription. Seriously, like 30 letters and 10 calls in 6 months, even after picking up those calls and telling them to remove me from their lead list. They kept calling me about a car that I don't even have anymore. Despite telling them that it was totaled, I got a new car, and my free subscription for that car had already expired. There was a class action lawsuit against SiriusXM. I got 2 checks from them, same case, new car, and kept hounding me. Every brand that boasts its J.D. Power Award for initial reliability to real people, not actors. J.D. Power Awards are bought and paid for by the companies that receive them. If there is no award for a company with the money to spare, another one gets made up on the spot. The whole thing is a big money-making joke. Care.com. I had 4 babysitters through Care.com. The first turned out to be a paranoid schizophrenic that went off her meds and kidnapped her own child from the father to perform an exorcism on the demon. Second stole from my house every time she was there. Third ended up knowing and hanging out with one of my family members who is a very well-known meth heroin dealer. Fourth would not bring my kid back when she was supposed to. Ended up having to travel miles away to get her. When I tried to cancel my care.com account, they would repeatedly hang up on me for days. I called constantly trying to cancel my account. Sent emails, sent letters through the mail. Finally, they said they canceled it. Then proceeded to continue to charge me for 4 months. I got them to stop closing my account and reporting them for fraud. Screw you, care.com. Edited to add. Here's the news report about the first one. Jesus, that's scary. I just put a profile up for a babysitter for my own child. Screw that. Oh man, as a normal, I promise, babysitter having posted there before, I literally only was inundated with spam parents interested in my services. The one legit babysitting job I ever got from an online database was through Sitter City, and I wouldn't even really recommend them either. Logan's Roadhouse. Went to one a decade ago and got a buffalo chicken sandwich. It was raw in the middle. I told the server and her response was, "Yeah, it's usually a safer bet to get the chicken strips." Left right then and haven't and won't go back. Something similar happened to me at a food truck in New York City. I got chicken kebabs that were raw in the middle. Went back and told them. Their response was, "You should have asked for the chicken well done then." That's not how chicken works. I didn't legit have any problems with my meal, but due to a minor language barrier at a place I frequent, I was once asked how done I wanted my chicken. I had about 10 seconds of puzzled silence when I tried to make sure there wasn't any other way I could have interpreted the question, and just replied, "Cooked," for lack of any more specific chicken doneness terminology. Chicken there was, had always been, and has consistently been awesome. It's just one of those exchanges that stick with you. Avast. I was happy for the most part, but one day I noticed my browser changed to Avast one, without me ever installing it, accepting it, or even being notified that said browser is being added to the package. When I install, I always go for manual options so I can tick off unwanted crap. This just happened with one of the updates. So, no thanks Avast. You can go screw yourself now. My mom decided to try the premium Avast thing, so she accepted the free trial. Now, I don't know if this is standard for free trials in most services, but when she decided she didn't want it, she could not find any way to cancel it. The service renewal was on by default, and there was no obvious way to opt out of it. She ended up calling me to help her find the damn option to get out of the stupid free trial, and I don't remember exactly what we did, but I remember it took a while, and I had to navigate through a bunch of obscure crud just to make sure she wouldn't be charged. When we finally managed to find it and cancel the damn thing, we just kind of looked at each other and were like, yeah, that crud's getting uninstalled from everything. It was horrible. Yeah, once very good consumer-friendly software, now just another cash grab with shady practices. Standard of this age. Expedia. They've screwed me several times now, and their customer service straight up lies and is designed to be so frustrating, you give up. Use Expedia to find the deal. Call the hotel directly and say you saw the deal on Expedia. But I'd rather book with the hotel directly because your customer service is stellar. Is it possible to get the same rate as what Expedia is offering for this date? I found most hotels will not only match the rate, but sometimes give me a better deal or even a free upgrade. I've stopped banking with major banks. I keep all of my money and get all of my loans from a local credit union. Their rates are amazing, the account fees are non-existent, and I've never had better customer service in my life at any bank major or minor. Don't reward the big banks, people. Same thing here. We had US Bank, but they screwed us when we were trying to sell a car and use the money from the sale to buy another car. We got a cashier's check from selling one, but they kept refusing to clear the funds for several days after we deposited it. Eventually, I had them cancel the entire transaction, give us the check back, and close our account. We bought it right over to our local credit union, where I had a savings account already, but not a checking account yet. Deposited the money, and it cleared right away, super fast, and they were extremely helpful the entire time. Thrifty car rental. Got a car with problems I noticed on my drive from the airport. At the same time, my dad was in hospice and they weren't sure how long he would be alive. Thrifty wouldn't do anything to help me. told me to return the car and exchange it, and they would charge me for the pleasure. I tried to explain my situation. Airport was 2 hours away, dad's dying. Can I have AAA tow it back to them or something? No. I ended up renting a second car in my hometown while he was dying and paid for the full 2 weeks renting one car that worked and one from Thrifty. Complained to corporate and their response was basically, maybe you shouldn't have prioritized your dad's dying over a rental car. Screw Thrifty. Screw Thrifty. When renting a car that I was only driving from airport to mother-in-law house, then back, I told them I did not want any of that extra crap. My insurance was enough to cover me if anything happened. Partly my fault for not reading everything the stupid computer was having me sign, but the stupid worker snuck in extra insurance. Ended up costing me an extra $150 when I returned it, called and complained, and they took it down to $75, but should have been $0. Never again. Last time I used Thrifty, my girlfriend at the time and I were heading from Tampa to Atlanta. As we are nearing the border, she reads in the contract that if this vehicle leaves Florida, that the anti-theft device will lock the car down and I'll have to pay for it to get towed back to Tampa. This was 3.5 hours into the trip. I called and they were like, yup, better not go to Atlanta. I offered to pay whatever additional fee and they were like, nope, sorry. So I had to drive all the way back to Tampa and get my vehicle and then drive to Atlanta. Screw Thrifty. Which brand has lost you as a customer? Let us know in the comments below and you might get a chance to be featured in an upcoming video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos from the library. And thank you so much for watching.